it. Okay, yes, switch it. Yeah, I'm bringing this on. Sorry, I was reading this comment. Hey, girl, hey, Tyler. Uh-oh, hold on. Okay. See. Oh, no. Wrong button. I'm trying to upload a video. Trying to go live. All right, y'all. Peaceful greetings, Uncle Nathaniel. Family, the sun is shining bright, ain't it already? I mean, it is like 7:30. All right. It does, Tyler. That's it should be that way. Because when that started happening to me, I was like, wait a minute. First of all, I loved it. But we are not supposed to, I mean, forgive me for the men who are here already. Hold on. Tiffany, hey girl, hey. Let me just double check. I didn't see Tiffany come in. Okay. Yes. Fasting, the more you fast and the more your body cleanses, the shorter and the lighter your monthly cycle becomes, right? Until it disappears sometime. And that's actually okay. The way we've been, this sounds like blasphemy to people who don't really understand or haven't taken the time to actually fast and experience it. There's you're supposed to bleed and all that. Okay. But when you do, it should not be for like 7 days. And sometimes women go a whole lot longer bleeding. Like sometimes, well, it didn't really start happening until after I had like my fifth child, to where my cycles would last like 2 weeks, and that's devastating enough in itself, right? But it should not be happening that way. The more you fast, the more you cleanse your body, the less frequent your cycles will become, because your body is actually healing. And when you bleed like that for longer periods of time, it's a sign of something else going on in your body. Taking it, you're fine. I didn't even say hello to everybody yet. But yeah, don't panic. Some women, they really do panic about that. But when you're cleansing your body and you're fasting, your period will become lighter and less frequent. And some women lose it altogether. And that's okay. It means your body is actually healing itself. That was probably one of the most wonderful things that could have happened to me when I actually started fasting, right? So I was like, well, you need that to get pregnant? Oh, no, not really. You really don't. Learn a little bit about the body. Levon, shalom, blessings. Mom, blessings, shalom, shalom. You ain't miss it? Oh, yeah, I bet. I don't miss mine either, right? But mine hasn't completely disappeared, but well, for one, it's regulated itself, right? To where it would be like all over the place. It regulated itself. And then instead of 7 days, it's just like a few days. Sometimes it's only like 1 day, but I understood what was going on, so I wasn't freaking out. When it first started happening, I was like, let me start looking into this. But yeah, and when I saw Yaki talking, actually Yaki was not the first person that I learned it from. When it started happening to me, I hadn't heard anything about it. That's when I actually started looking into it. And I started actually finding people actually talking about it. When you cleanse your body and you fast, one of the biggest things that will happen for women, especially if you have major symptoms with PMS or heavy flow menstrual cycles, that will begin to regulate itself. It will come less frequently, and the heaviness will become way lighter. you know, and it just happens. The body, when you release that egg once a month, it will shed, but it shouldn't shed like we've been knowing it to shed, right? Compared to somebody who's really lived like a plant-based lifestyle, even more so just like a fruit-based or whatever. You know, some people, they just like, what are you talking about? When you learn about it and you actually begin to experience it, you'll begin to understand then, you know, and it won't seem like such blasphemous words based on what we've been taught in the system. Zoe, hey girl, hey, shalom, shalom. Demi, shalom. Jerry, oh great spirit, our life giver, guide our spirit to your truth always. Yes and amen. All right, beautiful people. Well, happy Sunday. Talaine asked a question. Asked a question about the monthly cycle. You know, she doing more fasting, and she noticed that her cycle is drying up and disappearing and stuff. You know, I was just explaining that when you fast, that does begin to happen. It's natural, and it should be that way, because women should not bleed as much and as long as we're taught that we should, and that it's okay when it's really not. All right, y'all. Look for my pen. Hold on. Oh, and another thing, especially women who go through menopause. I haven't gone through menopause yet, but I know a couple women who gone through it, and when they remove certain things from their diet, like meat altogether, right? Meats, the dairy, and they go to a plant-based lifestyle, not like junk food, vegan and stuff, but plant-based. Even the PMS symptoms and that whole process is eased tremendously. All the hot flashes, all those kind of things completely stop, right? And they don't teach you about it. You got to just kind of learn about it on your own in order to experience the benefits. And it makes that process, that transition from like an active childbearing years to no longer being active in childbearing years. It makes that process a breeze, you know? And it shouldn't be as, I ain't gonna say as painful, but as, what's the word? Inconvenient as it is to most women who experience it. Y'all should look into it, especially women or men who have women or women in their lives, whether it's mother, sister, wife, cousins that are experiencing those things. When you learn about it, you can be a great tool. Bring them some great references, you know, if they're willing to adjust their eating lifestyle and habits in order to experience the benefits of what a clean body will do for you. You take care of it, it will take care of you. Yeah, that's all me. Heavy PMS symptoms. I crave chocolate. Girl, I know. Girl, I know. I know how it is. Okay, y'all. All right, y'all. So happy Sunday. It is April the 10th, 2022, day 78 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1096. Today, I'm going to just say we're going to finish reading the rest of the complete Annunaki Bible, because we are in tablet Z, and I think we're going to finish it. I think we're going to finish it. I think we're going to finish this, and we're going to finish the other one. We're going to finish what ancient wisdom expects of its disciples. I think we're going to finish them both. Let's just see. Because if we do, tomorrow we start afresh. We'll be streaming live from the actual page on Facebook. Then we're going to start the OASB, and we're going to start the meditation book. Belinda Brown. Hey, Auntie. Trina. Hey, girl. Hey, don't I say hi to Trina? All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get started. We use Jerry's prayer as the opening. So let's go ahead and hop right to it. Page 391. We stopped at the bottom at the Litany to Mithra. The title of this tablet is Book of Zoroastria and Appendix. All right. In the name of God, may the majesty and glory of Ormazd, the beneficent Lord, increase throughout the universe. May Mithras of the wide cattle pastures, the true judge of all worldly sins, I repent. Homage to you, Ahura Mazda. Come to my aid, Mazda. We sacrifice to the good, helpful, holy, Fravishish of the righteous one. We sacrifice to Mithras of the wide cattle pastures. I proclaim this right of the Ahurian faith. Glorification to Mithras of the wide cattle pastures, who has 1,000 ears, who has 10,000 eyes. The Yazad, who is invoked here by name, and also to Rama Kavasta. Let the one who knows the secret name pronounce it to me. We sacrifice to Mithras of the wide cattle pastures, whose words are truth, or power, Ma'at. We sacrifice to Mithras, who is around the country. We sacrifice to Mithras, who is within the country. We sacrifice to Mithras, who is in the country. We sacrifice to Mithras, who is above the country. We sacrifice to Mithras, who is under the country. We sacrifice to Mithras, who is before the country. We sacrifice to Mithras, who is behind the country. We sacrifice to Mithras and Ahura, the exalted ones, imperishable, righteous ones, and to the stars, the moon, and the sun by the means of the trees of life. We sacrifice to Mithras, the Lord of all countries. For his splendor and fortune, I shall sacrifice with audible homage and libations to Mithras of the wide cattle pastures. We sacrifice to Mithras of the wide cattle pastures, who offers an abode of joy and a good abode of the Sumerian countries. May Mithras come to aid us. May Mithras come to support us. May Mithras come to grant us to mercy. May Mithras come to cure us of our ailments. May Mithras come to help defeat our enemies. May Mithras come to grant us the good life. May Mithras come to grant us the words of truth, power, Ma'at. May the strong, unshakable Mithras of the wide cattle pastures, who is worthy of praise, come to us for the sake of the whole material world. This powerful, strong Lord of earth, Mithras, strongest in the kingdom of creatures, I will honor with libations. I will pay homage with praise and reverence and audible prayer to Mithras of the wide cattle pastures. We honor Mithras of the wide cattle pastures with Haoma, which contains milk and twigs made with the herbal craft and skill of words, magic words, which with speech and action and libations and with the correctly uttered words. We honor both the male and female manifestations in our worship of those whom Ahura Mazda knows, according to what has been deemed best by Asha. The next section is Litany to the Moon. In the name of God, may the power and glory of Ormaz, the beneficent Lord, increase among us. May the moon, the purifier, come by the name of the Yazad moon. Of all my worldly sins, I repent. Homage to Ahura Mazda. Homage to Amisha Spentus. Homage to the moon that possesses the seed of the bull of heaven. Homage to the moon when it is gazed upon. To homage to the Homage to the moon when it is gazed upon, and homage to the gaze. Praise be to Ahura Mazda, and praise be to Asha. I proclaim this right of the Ahurian faith, etc. Glory to the moon that possesses the seed of the bull of heaven, to the self-created bull that is known by many names. Let the one who knows the secret name of the chosen Lord come and pronounce it to me. Homage to Ahura Mazda. And it says, repeat verse 1. What causes the moon to wax? What causes the moon to wane? 15 days to wax, 15 days to wane. As long as it is waxing, so is the waning. So long is the waning, so is the waxing. Who is it that the moon shines for other than the highest? We sacrifice to the moon that possesses the seed of the bull of heaven, the righteous one and master of Asha. Now I gaze upon the moon. I present myself to the moon. I behold the brilliant radiance reflected by the moon. I present myself to the brilliant moon. There stands the watchers, Amisha Spentus, who hold the glory of the universe in their will. There stands the watchers, Anisha Spentas, who radiate the glory on earth that was created by Ahura. When the moon warms the night with its light, then the golden-colored plants may always grow together on earth in the spring. We sacrifice to the new moon, the righteous one, master of Ahasha. We sacrifice to the full moon, the righteous one, master of Ahasha. We sacrifice to the intervening seventh day, the righteous one, master of Ahasha. I will sacrifice to the moon that possesses the seed of the bull of heaven, the holy bestower, radiant, glorious, possessed of water, possessed of warmth, possessed of knowledge, possessed of wealth, possessed of riches, possessed of discernment, possessed of goodness and healing. To the splendor and fortune of the moon I shall sacrifice audible praises, the moon that possesses the seed of the bull of heaven with libations. We sacrifice to the moon that possesses the seed of the bull of heaven, the righteous one, master of Ahasha, with Haoma, which contains milk and twigs, made with the herbal craft and skill of words, magic words, with speech and actions and libations, and with correctly uttered words. We honor both the male and female manifestations in our worship of those whom Ahura Mazda knows, according to what has been deemed best by Asha. I desire the right to honor the moon that possesses the seed of the bull of heaven, of the self-created bull, and of the cattle of all species. Give us strength and victory. Give us a steady supply of cattle. Give us a multitude of men who are steadfast, belonging to the great assembly, able to vanquish adversaries at one stroke by the manifestation of help to the blessed. Yazad's full of fortune, Yazad's full of healing, manifest greatness by your greatness, manifest those of you who help when invoked. O waters, give indeed just your own manifest fortune to the worshiper. The next section is Litany to the waters. In the holy name of God, may the majesty and glory of Ormaz, the beneficent Lord, increase on earth. May Banu Aban Ardivisur be here now. Of all my worldly sins, I repent. Hail to the good waters created by Mazda. Hail to the waters of the righteous, Hail to the waters of the righteous, Arvedi Anahita. Hail to the waters of the earth created by Mazda. Hail to the plants created by Mazda, nourished with the waters of life. Let the one who knows the secret name of the chosen Lord come and pronounce it to me. Ahura Mazda spoke to Spitama Zarathustra. Pay sacrifice for me, Zarathustra, to the lady Arvedi Sura Anahita, the expansive healing waters, the good foe to the Ahurian Devas, worthy of sacrifice in the material kingdom, worthy of prayers from the material world. Hail to the righteous waters of life increasing. Hail to the righteous waters, the life increasing one. Hail to the righteous waters, the cattle increasing one. Hail to the righteous waters, the prosperity increasing one. Hail to the righteous waters, the land increasing one. Hail to the righteous waters that purifies the seed of males, to the righteous waters that purifies the wombs of females, to the righteous waters that ease the strain of childbirth and that bestow milk to the female mother who is kneading. Hail to the great one of these waters that runs along the face of the earth, which for the strong one flows forth from the heights, Hukariya, to the depths of the sea, Vayuru Kasha. Hail to the shores of the sea, Vayuru Kasha, who are in commotion when the spirit of the waters flow forth upon them, when she, Arivedi Sura Amahita, streams forth, she who possesses 1,000 lakes and 1,000 currents, the territory expanding a 40 days journey to a man who rides a good horse. Hail to the outflow of this one water I behold, which extends outward to penetrate the 7 lands. I behold that it flows continuously in both summer and winter. It is not I, but Ahura Mazda that has brought forth, by decree, the order for homes, villages, kingdoms, and countries. I recite the litany of the waters, so that the waters shall pour forth the Asha and purify the good waters together with the word by which Ahura Mazda was granted access to the heavenly abode. May the Lady of the Litany of the Waters grant me reward. To the splendor and fortune of the Lady of the Waters, I shall sacrifice to her with audible litanies. By this devotion, may you be summoned quickly when invoked. We sacrifice to Aravedi Sura Anahita with libations, the righteous master of Asha, with Haoma, which contains milk and twigs, made with the herbal craft and skill of words, magic words, with speech and action and libations, and with the correctly uttered words, and with correctly uttered words. Yeah, that's repeated twice. Yeah, they just repeat it twice. We honor both the male and female manifestations in our worship of those whom Ahura Mazda knows according to what has been deemed best by Asha. Now it's a litany to the fires. And I think this is the last one. Yep, this is the last one we had. 19 minutes. Yeah, we're going to be done with this today. All right, litany to the fires. Hail to you, fire of Ahura Mazda, the greatness manifest, great Annunaki. In the true and secret name of God, may the majesty and glory of Ormaz, the righteous Lord, increase in strength. Hail to the fire of Ben-Ram, the great fire. Hail to the fire of Adarran, the great fire. Hail to the fire of Dadgah, the great fire. Of all my worldly sins, I repent. Rise up before me, Ahura, and give vigor through Armaiti. Let your strength be reward, felt by all through your Holy Spirit, Mazda, the mighty power felt through Asha, and the supremacy through Vohu Mana. Hail to the support given by the far-seeing one, and may you manifest before me the miraculous things of your Kshatra. Yeah, I think that's Kshatra. Khshathra. Let me start again. Hail to the support given by the far-seeing one, and may you manifest before me the miraculous things of your Kshatra by Ahura, which are the reward of Vohu Mana. Holy Armati, through Asha, be the instructor of our consciences. Zarathustra, as given offering of his life and body, by the excellence of Vohu Mana unto Mazda, and also by the power and obedience unto Asha. Hail to you, fire of Ahura Mazda, the greatness manifest, great Annunaki. In the true and secret name of God, may the majesty and glory of Ormaz, the righteous Lord, increase in strength. I profess myself a follower of the teachings of Zarathustra and the ways of Mazda. I stand to oppose the dark devas and accepting of Ahuric doctrine. Hail to the great fire, the son of Ahura Mazda. Hail to the great fire, the son of Ahura Mazda, and to the good fortune and prosperity created by Mazda. To some Aryan good fortune created by Mazda, to the good fortune of the king created by Mazda. Hail to the great fire, the son of Ahura Mazda, to Kavi Husrava, to the lake of Husrava, to the Mount As Navant, all made manifest by Mazda. Atha Ahu Varyo, Atha Ratush It Hacha. I messed that up. I bless the joyous offering in reverence and devotion to the great fire, son of Ahura Mazda, worthy of sacrifice and prayer in the dwellings of men. May there be hope in the ear of a man who follows the form of sacrifice to you with fuel, milk, and mortar in his hand. May you be provided with proper fuel, incense, and nourishment towards your upkeep, maintained by the one who is wise in the priestly ways. Let the fire be controlled until the end of the long count at the end of days, when shall come the great renovation on earth. Remember, the long count is they're actually referring to time. We learned that, I think day before yesterday, when it kept repeating the long count and it had time in parentheses, or it said time and had long count in parentheses. Okay. Let the fire be controlled until the end of the long count at the end of days. Then shall come the great renovation on earth. I ain't never heard it like that before, the great renovation on earth. We might use that for the title today. Great fire, son of Ahura Mazda, send to me prosperity, life, well-being, a holy, pious life in abundance, with true knowledge and understanding for my being, soul. Manifest these things here immediately. By your blessings, let us have native offsprings that may honor you and further the house, village, kingdom, and country. Grant to us spirit of great fire, son of Ahura Mazda, the most righteous, happy, fulfilled life forever, so that we might attain the greatest reward of the highest. The spirit of the fires of Ahura Mazda gives command over all life, cooking the morning and evening meals for the people, soliciting the good offering by the dedicated and devoted Spitama. The spirit of the fires of Ahura Mazda watches the hands of all who pass by the flame, asking, what does the friend bring to the friend? We offer sacrifice unto the holy fire of the bold warrior. If the right offerings be brought unto the great fire of Ahura Mazda, the blessings shall come. With a mighty herd of cattle to follow you, legions of men to walk beside you, and a might of an active spirit, mind, and joyous life will befall you. Such is the covenant of sacrifice, purified by the rites of Asha. Lord Ormazd, increaser of mankind and of the various good species on earth, may you bring intelligence, steadfastness, and goodness to those who follow in accordance with the ancient law. So mote it be. I desire the right to honor the strength and force of the fire of the great fire, son of Ahura Mazda, holy fire, sacred warrior, Annunaki of magnificent fortune, Annunaki of healing, and to all fires and to the Annunaki offspring of sovereignty, hear me. Through Asha, we ask for the powerful fire of Ahura Mazda, which is taught through the law of Asha, to be manifest and visible for the ally against the foe of Mazda. Hail to the source of all being and creation, to the creator of all the creatures on earth, who is known only as the most holy and unspeakable of names. I ain't never in my life, look, in all my days of calling the most holy, I've never heard anybody else call the most holy till I read it. Let me read this again. Hail to the source of all being and creation, to the creator of all creatures on earth, who is known only as the most holy and unspeakable of names. This is amazing. This is completely amazing. We almost done, y'all. That was my highlight for the day. Look. May there be an increase in the prosperity and good fortune to me and my good neighbors of the house, village, kingdom, and country. May there be an increase in the luster and fortune. Hail to the fire of Benram, the great fire. Hail to the fire of Adaran, the great fire. Hail to the fire of Dadga, the great fire. May all of the powerful and magnificent fires gather before me here. Agar, Gushap, Adar, Kordad, Adar, Burzin, Miher, and the other Ardan and Arshan, who have been established in their proper places. May the power and victory of these fires increase for the benefit of the entire universe. May the knowledge and glory of the Mazdaznian law permeate to the 7 regions of the earth. So mote it be. Facing south, hail to the creator of the world, and the law of Marduk Asha given to Zaruthustra, and hail to thee, the righteous are Visura Anahita, the most profitable and righteous one, Ashem Vohu. Hail to you, the good and righteous tree, manifested by Mazda Ashem Vohu. Hail to you, holy and formless fire of Ahura Mazda, manifest on earth by the good Annunaki, Ashem Vohu. And those are the last words of the complete Annunaki Bible. Y'all, we done. We done. Okay, so it's this little blurb. I'll read it. Okay, it says, would you like to know more? Enter the realm of the Mardukite Chamberlains, and you can go to mardukite.com or necrogate.com. And necrogate is necrogate.com. Mardukite is spelled MARDUKITE.com. Just in case y'all wanted to check it out for further study and research. You can see that on Facebook. See it on YouTube. Okay. Your journey in esoteric archaeology continues in the powerful and informative sequel to the complete Annunaki Bible. I realized there was a sequel to this. I'm gonna have to get it. It's called the Sumerian Legacy. I gotta get it. I don't know if we're gonna read it, but I'm definitely gonna get it. The Sumerian Legacy. The next part to this, I gotta see, because if there's more tablets in there, then we're gonna have to read it. It's gonna be a while down the road. We'll see. Okay, and it says the Sumerian Legacy, a guide to esoteric archaeology by Joshua Free, and this is kind of like a little blurb about what it's about. Okay, it says long lost secrets of ancient Mesopotamian religion, Anunnaki mythology, and mysteries of Babylonian magic are coherently revealed in the first complete esoteric guide to Sumerian archaeology, accessible to all readers, from the world-renowned Mardukite Research Organization, developed by Joshua Free. This amazing guide to esoteric archaeology reveals the secret Anunnaki tradition of Babylon, forbidden knowledge lost thousands of years ago, from the origins of Sumerian civilization in the ancient Mesopotamia to the rise of Babylonian magic, mythology, and religion. World-renowned expert and director of the Mardukite Research Organization invites the seeker on an incredible progressive journey to illuminate the most ancient and inaccessible facets of human history, spirituality, and religious tradition on the planet. For the first time ever, anyone can discover secrets of the Sumerian Anunnaki and the origins of all physical and metaphysical systems born from the Mesopotamian mystery tradition that directly led to Babylonian religion, a unique combination of Sumerian, Akkadian, Assyrian, and Chaldean lore revealed with perfect clarity for all modern readers, the academic, esoteric, and even the just curious. We got to get it because we just curious. All right, beautiful people, that is it. We are done with another whole thick book. This is what? $3.98. I think the longest book we've read to this point until we start reading Oaspi tomorrow is the Legends of the Jews. There was like 538 pages, I think. All right, so we are done with this. Give yourselves a round of applause for hanging in there through it, right? We're at 32 minutes, and we're going to finish the rest of this. All right. What ancient wisdom expects of its disciples. And we paused on page 39, and I said I was going to go back a little bit. Okay, so we're learning about the degrees of people, of your awakening process, right? First of all, it's not even on the list. It's like at 0 is the awareness that you've been asleep through multiple layers of illusion and everything, right? So once you fully waking up, you can stretch a little bit. It's like, okay, and you figured out, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get moving. In your moving process, when you still just waking up trying to figure out what in the world is going on in this world we at, who am I really, what are we really, why are we here, what is the purpose of life? Once you get through that process, right, and you start moving down the road to actually research, you would hit the first degree. And the first degree is that of a student, right? And then we went through all the things, what the student learns on their journey of waking up and realizing that they are a spirit entrapped in a body, right? It's like a vehicle. We got to learn how to drive and navigate this world and grow. This is the best way that the spirit grows, right? And there are multiple schools upon the earth, right? There are multiple different specializations here on the earth where the training ground gets real, right? Depending on what color body you were put in and where in the world you were set will determine what your spirit needs to grow, right? So the first degree is that of a student. The second degree is that of a disciple. Once you've been studious and you've been a really good student, like you don't even hit the disciple point until quite a few years have passed, right? And you've shown yourself to be disciplined, right? So the whole discipline takes place in that first degree of a student. You got to learn how to just be disciplined in many things in life, right? So when you found yourself, or the unseen masters have seen, okay, we can go ahead and take them to the next level. Now you become my disciple, but you don't just choose to become a disciple. Whatever path you were put on in life, that teacher will appear to you when you are ready. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right? We will be given physical teachers to help us along the way, but when your true teacher shows up, they will be unseen, right? And by this time, you have learned to connect yourself with the spirit of Yah, right? Or the unseen realm. By this time, you are completely aware that there is another whole realm, the unseen realm, non-physical matter reality that is in full operation. You realize that it exists. You no longer question it. You actually, at this point, you've been given a lot of instructions from that realm, and you realize that unseen teacher is there in that realm, right? That's the second degree of the disciple. As you move through that, your unseen teachers will give you instruction and help you throughout the day. You can ask for different things and you will hear answers coming from the unseen realm and guiding you, leading you and guiding you through the physical places here in physical matter reality, right? That's the second degree of a disciple. The third degree, where we pause there, is that of the initiate, right? Okay. Let me go back these couple paragraphs before we start that. Okay, the last couple paragraphs in the second degree of the disciple. The true masters never appear in public teaching large classes or groups concerning occult exercises, but come privately to their disciples and instruct each one individually. The ability to inform the disciple concerning the steps to be taken before his actual initiation is the result of the high degree of development reached by the adept. So you as a disciple, you would be considered an adept, right? And depending on how studious and disciplined you are, they will let you know if you are chosen to be initiated, right? Just like people try to join different chapters of different things, and some of these fraternities and stuff where they're actually initiated after they go through this hazing process. But it's not hazing here. We might consider life as a whole big hazing place, but it's not really. You got to learn how to operate in this place, right? And when you found yourself to be ready, we will initiate you, right? And you get to come up a little bit higher than some of the students and the disciples, right? Okay, you get a little more wisdom. They give you insight into some things that the lower levels don't get access to. The ability to inform the disciple concerning the steps to be taken before his actual initiation is the result of the high degree of development reached by the adept. No one who is an adept is able to prescribe for the spiritual needs of students without assuming heavy karmic responsibilities. The disciple will probably be visited at night by his teacher, who will come in a super physical body. The student will feel certain that he is fully awake, and in a spiritual sense of the word, he is. But he will recognize the master only through super physical vision. If he has not developed his spiritual nature by right living, right thinking, and right feeling during his probation as a student, he will be unable to recognize the master when he comes. The work of the disciple is to learn unquestioning obedience. As the child obeys its father, so must he obey his master once that master has proven his authority and his virtue. To disobey the master, even the slightest particular, is to be separated from him, possibly for the rest of his life. The student must obey unquestioningly the instruction which he receives. To deviate from it in even the slightest detail may prove fatal to him. His work as a disciple is to prepare his embryonic super-physical bodies so that when he is an initiate, he may use them as vehicles of consciousness. And we could be getting that development going through the gateway process, right? Helping you develop in a safe way your consciousness, how to properly navigate the spiritual realm, right? It's one of the best ones I've seen so far. I'm not saying it's the only one, but it's the best one I've seen and encountered so far, right? All right, now, the third degree is that of the initiate. In this grade are the accepted and proven disciples who, while out of the physical body, under the direction of their teachers, have actually and consciously taken one or more initiations in the invisible temple of a true mystery school. Let me read that again. That's a lot to unpack in that one sentence. Listen. The third degree is that of initiate. In this grade are the accepted and proven disciples who, while out of the physical body, out of body experiences, we talk about everything be leading up to this. While out of the physical body, under the direction of their teachers, have actually and consciously taken one or more initiations in the invisible temple of a true mystery school. There are no spiritual initiations given in the physical world. There are no spiritual initiations given in the physical world. All the true initiations must take place in the invisible worlds, for that is the only place where there can be found those authorized and fitted to give them. Read it again. There's so much unpacking this little initiate portion. Listen, y'all. There are no spiritual initiations given in the physical world. All the true initiations must take place in the invisible worlds, for that is the only place where there can be found those authorized and fitted to give them. The forms and rituals used here are all exoteric and only symbolic of the true spiritual rituals used in the mystery schools. Today, even the rituals mean very little, for in the majority of cases, the student has not only lost the meaning of the symbolic services, but he has also forgotten that they had an inner significance. As Eliphas Levi, the great transcendentalist, has well said, the tests and obligations of the mystery schools are no longer given because none are sufficiently illumined to understand their inner significance. Therefore, none are willing to go through their hardships only to find that their ignorance will remain unenlightened. This is the great fault which mystics find with the religions in the world today. In the majority of cases, they are pageantries of empty words. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. The way they summed up religions. Pageantries of empty words. This is the great fault which mystics find with religions in the world today. In the majority of cases, they are pageantries of empty words. On the threshold between the visible and invisible worlds stands the dweller, which Lord Bulwer Lytton has so well described in his great Rosicrucian novel, Zanoni, spelled Zanoni, just in case you're interested in it and you're not scared of the title, Rosicrucian. Okay. It's good research there, y'all. For those who are ready for that level of understanding. I ain't saying go get into it if you're not, because you might find yourself off into something else, especially if you haven't developed your spirit to be able to pull out truth and separate what's not, right? What's not useful. So some of these things I'm giving to y'all, some people may not be ready for it. Some people may be, but you have to determine that yourself, right? On the threshold between the visible and the invisible worlds stands the dweller, which Lord Bulwer Lytton has so well described in his great Rosicrucian novel, Zanoni. This sphinx-like creature, which each must pass on his way to the temple of light, represents the lower nature of the candidate himself. While the consciousness is within the bodies, it cannot see this demon, but when outside, it gets a detached view of itself. The lower animal nature made visible through the composite astral body is seen and recognized for the first time. This reminds me of, I told y'all about this this curriculum that I have, that I've been asking, can I teach? And they just haven't said anything to me. Now I understand why they're answering all my other questions except for that one. Remember I told you I got the whole curriculum, right? I paid a couple $1,000s for the entire curriculum. And what they're talking about in here, it's teaching you, some of the stuff that I've been teaching all about the body that's kind of been put out there already, and how it represents the actual temple and the body and the lower natures and all this stuff and how it connects with nature. All of that is in there. And they say this was how people were originally taught in the world. That's how civilizations were able to advance a little bit faster and able to build some of the things they were able to build, because the earlier teachers, the ancient teachers, like way back before our generation, this was like regular daily business for everybody. Learning about, like, you come out of the womb, learning about the body and the spirit and how we are connected and why we are spirits put inside our bodies, and the whole earth training place that was there. This is what's in that curriculum. And I've been asking them that they're just as cordial and nice to me and everything. But all the questions I ask, they answer except for this one. Can I teach this? Which I remember Dana said, she said, no answer is your answer. So I realize that now, the more that I learn about everything and why, right? Because those who are ready for it, they're going to get the information anyway, because they're going to go and find it, which is why it's not taught outwardly, because that information is only for those that's ready, like, and those are serious about life and growing and finding out why we're really here and developing. That's why it's not taught publicly like that, and it's taught in a private setting, because you don't want to just put jewels and stuff out here for the masses who are going to trample over it, and they don't understand and have not adequately prepared themselves to receive this information, and then they will take it and misteach it and all of those things, right? So in order to get this, you got to go within. When you go within, you will start seeking, and then you will find, right? That's why they keep ignoring my question. Now I completely understand why they keep ignoring that question. I'm like, I got all of it. Like, right here, we can go. Now I understand. Same reason, the same thing about the Holy Megillah and why. I completely understand this now, right? I know I be getting y'all hype about stuff I could possibly share with y'all, and then I realize I can't. I give y'all the information. Y'all got to go find it. Go get it yourself. And those who are ready and serious will go get it, right? And you will be taught. All right. While the consciousness is within the bodies, it cannot see this demon, but when outside, it gets a detached view of itself. The lower animal nature, made visible through a composite astral body, is seen and recognized for the first time. This specter, the candidate must pass as he steps across from one world to the other. In order to accomplish this feat successfully, he must gain complete control over the forces in his own nature, which since his first differentiation from the animal consciousness have been building the lower side of his nature. Let me read that again. In order to accomplish this feat successfully, he must gain complete control over the forces of his own nature, which, since his first differentiation from the animal consciousness, have been building the lower side of his nature. If mentally and spiritually he has mastered those elements, he is strong enough to pass unmoved and unafraid before this phantom of his own perversions. Hold on, let me read that again. That's good. If mentally and spiritually he has mastered those elements, he is strong enough to pass unmoved and unafraid before this phantom of his own perversions and enter with strength and courage into the invisible worlds. A lot of us still trying to make it past the fear factor, right? I mean, you ain't ready yet. Keep going. You'll be ready, right? When you can move on unafraid and unmoved, you ready. We waiting for you. Come on in here. Come on down into this rabbit hole a little bit deeper. When he is able to do this, the candidate shows that he has taken the first step towards self-mastery. Having accomplished this and learned to control his own complex organisms, he is now ready to be given power over greater things. There are many grades of initiates, and no matter how far a seeker may pass on the pathway of understanding, there is always something more for him to accomplish. We may compare it to a man walking toward the horizon. As rapidly as he approaches it, it recedes from him. No one but the Absolute itself is all-wise, all-powerful, all-knowing, or all-complete. Wisdom and ignorance are comparative terms, not only in the material world, but in the spiritual world as well. The mere fact that he has been accepted by one of the ancient schools does not mean that the student has become all-wise. It merely gives him a little more exalted view. He merely sees life with slightly broadened vision, but he is still subject to the laws of nature. He is still subject to the faults and failings. He is still capable of failure. With his initiations, the disciple gains certain occult powers that ever increase as he advances along the pathway of adeptship. Remember, we talked about this a lot. As you begin doing more, putting your flesh to death, so to speak, whether you call it praying in tongues or chanting, meditating more, cleaning up your life, you realize certain cities begin to manifest themselves in your life. This is a part of the process. You begin doing some of the things that are considered by others who don't understand as supernatural. Other people label it magic, but it's available to everybody if you would choose to put yourself on a path of growth and continue going. You will begin seeing some of these things manifest in your life. But some people you see out here, they're taking these gifts that are manifesting. They showed a little bit of stewardship, and let's not even say stewardship, a little bit of discipline where it begins to manifest a little bit. You know, Bruce Leroy at the end, when he about to fight Show Enough, when his glow was fizzling out, they got kind of this like these little bzz of power and things that they can do, which seem like magic or supernatural to other people, whether they laying hands on people doing things and get the big head, and next thing you know, you found out this pastor, this evangelist, he'd been caught paying a prostitute on the side of the road, about to go up into the hotel and get into something. Yes, them right there. They prostituting. They left school early. They thought, ooh, I can do this. I can possibly make money off of this too. And I can become somebody in this world. Don't leave class early. Everybody will run into the opportunity to go off on that side road, and some stay off on that side road and do extremely well from what our eyes perceive in this natural realm, growing big congregations or whatever it is that they're doing because of the supernatural gifts and talents that they have, right? I so wish most people would just stay in class. So people are just ready to get out there and showboat what they can do. We all have to be careful that we don't fall into those same traps, right? And it's really enticing. It's really, really enticing. But you got to just be like, no, I'll stay hidden. I'll be the unknown, unnamed, right? Because what you get as you stay hidden becomes so much better. It develops you in another whole way. It teaches you another whole level of self-discipline and humbleness that nothing else can compare to that. Nope. I'll go behind closed doors. Thank you. Nobody need to see me. Nope. I keep my mouth shut, right? Because I don't want to be kicked out of school, right? And at this point, you trying not to get kicked out of school. It ain't your choice that you leave. You trying not to get kicked out because they're going to kick you out. When you get to this level, like scripture says, I think it says, it's in the New Testament. Look, I ain't read it in so long that I'm forgetting some of the little, that I used to know. Those who have hold on, I'm about to screw this up. I hope not. But the gist of it says, those who have tasted the goodness and then have gone back, hold on, I gotta find, hold on. I'm gonna have to find that scripture, y'all. I know I don't completely messed it up. But anyway, the gist of it is, those who have come in and gotten a little bit of taste of it and then left out thinking that you knew everything, like, it would have been better had you not ever gotten a taste of the light at all. Because what you got was only enough information to get yourself in trouble. It's enough to get you killed out here in these earth streets, right? So you got to learn how to discipline yourself, and fasting will help you with that, right? It'll help you. That's one of the fastest, quickest ways to help you bring your own spirit into subjection. Deny it everything it wants. Be like, no. That's what fasting really is. Keeping the flesh under control, giving your spirit the power and authority over the flesh, like the hidden you. By fasting, you give the hidden you power over the seen you, right? Because you're constantly at war with yourselves, your spiritual self and your physical self. This one, the flesh that everybody can see, wants to run and rule everything. Well, your spirit, like, listen, Pam, what is you doing? Stop it. Girl, I know. Oh my gosh, it just, stop. Let me take control. No, I'm going to go. No, I'm going to go. Stop. Like, you got this constant war going on the inside of yourself, right? And fasting is the spirit's tool, your hidden self. It's that tool to conquer this you, right? And it's constantly telling this you, no. The more you say no, the weaker this gets, the stronger the spirit gets, and the spirit can take over, right? Only those that fast will know that struggle. But also, only those that fast, that know that struggle, will also know the joy and the strength that comes out at the other end of getting past those struggles and not giving in to the seen you, right? Because the unseen you takes over, right? And the unseen you is the you that the unseen teachers connect with, right? So if you can get this out of the way and under control, you can hear and recognize your teacher. I'm just saying, I'm just telling y'all from personal experience. Listen, hold on. The mere fact that he has been accepted by one of the ancient schools does not mean that the student has become all wise. It merely gives him a little more exalted view. He merely sees life with slightly broadened vision, but he is still subject to the laws of nature. He is still subject to faults and failings. He is still capable of failure. With his initiations, the disciple gains certain occultic powers that ever increase as he advances along the pathway of adeptship. As the school and the material world are divided into many grades, so the spiritual school in the mystery temple is divided into many stages and degrees. The disciple gradually passes from one initiation to another as he becomes more efficient in the labors which the invisible world expects him to accomplish. As he passes ever higher, he gradually increases in power, wisdom, and understanding. Read it again. As he passes ever higher, he gradually increases in power, wisdom, and understanding. Not, however, until the initiate reaches a very high degree does he become independent of the bonds that curb the ordinary human being. We may say he does not become superior to law until he becomes part of the law itself, and then he is above breaking it. Even after many initiations, all the laws of human limitation hold good. Initiates are subject to birth, growth, and old age. Sickness and sorrow still confront them at every turn. They must return to this life again like other normal They must return to this life again like other normal beings until their development carries them to a state of consciousness much higher than that of the average individual can hope to reach in one lifetime. And we don't talk about it a lot, but I allude to it sometimes because in Christianity, like if y'all still can't get over some of the stuff we learned about Christianity, how the word reincarnation will literally just completely throw you off the road altogether simply because of how deep your teaching is. But reincarnation is not like what, and I even kind of hate using that word, right? Just because of the teachings on it is so wrong. Well, most of it is wrong, right? You do return here, right? This is school. Remember, all that we've learned, everything that we're learning. Like, don't leave. Don't let me throw you off. Don't get pissed at me when I tell you this. But there are many. I love Avatar, right? Because they put so many truths in that animated cartoon that people who don't know or not even searching for truth, they won't even get it. They show you a lot of stuff in Avatar, right? Or The Last Airbender. That not the blue people, but the actual animation, Last Avatar, they show you a lot of stuff, right? When you have to repeat this life, right? Because you have so much that you have to learn in these lower grades before you actually become an ascendant master, before you can ascend to higher grades. Now, there are multiple levels to be gained here on the earth, which is why we have to return so many times. But there comes a point in time when you reach a certain level of awareness. Now I kind of understand it a little bit, right? Because without getting into it too much, I'm going to just kind of give you the gist of it, right? So what you should be able to do, right? Oh my gosh, my mom shared something with me yesterday, 2 videos. We talked about it a little bit, right? Grand Rising, Uncle JB. My mom shared 2 videos with me yesterday about children who it's like the after death experience, right? I think that's what it was called. I'm gonna share it today so y'all can see. Y'all probably looked at them before, but y'all ever seen these videos, and it's a lot of them on YouTube, about little children saying that, hey, I had other parents. They're like remembering their past lives, and a lot of times people they kind of just brush the children off, but there is no way these children could know this type of information. Like, they can give you exact addresses. This is my home. This is where I used to live. Or this was my wife. Here. And a few parents actually begin to listen to their children and some of these things that they would say. Or I died in a car crash like this previous one before. I'm going to share it with you. Matter of fact, I'm going to probably share like 5 of them. Because it's a couple of them. My mom shared like 2, but I had already looked into a lot of these before. I'm going to share like 5 of them today in the community section and under this video on Facebook today, right? And I put it on the Facebook page so you can see. But there is really something to this, right? And it had even led me to look into birthmarks and why we have birthmarks. You got a lot of different theories, but some things I'm like, this is an indication of something else, right? So at the point me and my sisters at, what we understand, I'm not saying we are completely right, but it has something to do with it. The birthmark, if my understanding is correct at this point, the birthmark is an indication of how you passed away in your previous life, right? So my sister, I be joking with Leisha. Leisha got a birthmark right there on her neck, right? I'm like, girl, you must have been talking mad junk for somebody to slit your throat, right? And so all those things, it's interesting though. But also, my husband and I, we have a birthmark in the same place. I'm like, bro, we follow each other from life to life. Like, we be joking about this stuff for real. Like, we be joking about it, but we kind of get like a little bit of insight into it, right? And so different birthmarks on different people in my family, it really causes me to really think about all of these things that I'm learning. I'm like, you know what? I'm not sure if that's 100% true, but there is some kind of truth to that. We may not have it down 100%, but there is something to the birthmarks, right? So, but anyway, off of that, these children, they are remembering what happened to them in like a previous life. And so when some of the parents start to go check into it and they go to these addresses or whatever this child is describing, they find out that this is actually true. Or people hear this is true. This is a person. Yes, we know that person. Oh no, this person died in a car crash. And the parents are completely floored. Like, how did my 4 or 5-year-old child know this? Nobody, like, they haven't been exposed to the world. Nobody's coming in. They don't even watch TV like this. How do they even know this? So I'm like, there's definitely something to this, right? So, but also what I've learned in some of the Eastern traditions, even you'll learn if you look into like the monks or whatever, what they know to be true is that when you have completed a whole life cycle here, when you're about to depart, they actually prepare themselves to come back. They're not sure of how soon they come back, but they'll come back at some period of time. Like, some people don't die and then they're just born like the next day into another body, whatever. From what I understand, it's not that soon, right? But you got certain people that's born into the world. It's like, you look at children, it's like, man, you have an old soul. Like, there is truth to a lot of this stuff. Like, you've been here before. Y'all didn't seen people or heard your grandparents say something about them. You didn't been here before. Some children come into the world a lot wiser than what others have. Okay, babe. And that is an indication of what's happened in their past life. And when I say this, y'all, I feel some type of way simply because how we're taught over here and coming out of the Christian church. I feel like I'm teaching blasphemy, but all of my studies and experiences shows me that there is truth to this. So just y'all got to look into it to see what I'm saying. But they actually prepare themselves to come back the next life. And we get onto this because you literally do. You have to come through here multiple times in order to gain all, because our life cycles have been cut so short, right? Remember that. Because like ain't nobody living past like 100. It's rare that you see people almost 200 years old, right? The lifespans used to be longer and they had longer times to gain all of this information. But now we have to come back multiple times to gain this wisdom throughout multiple experiences, right? And each experience should get better. When you come back, you should have been prepared in your previous life to be able to retain that information from your previous life. And it's supposed, from what I understand, each lifetime is supposed to build upon another, which is why when little children are primed, if they come into this world with parents who understand this, right? They will not be put to sleep and they go through this whole dumb phase of life where you don't remember nothing, right? And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't already had 6 kids. I know this stuff now. I don't know that I want to have any more, but we're going to prepare the ones that we got here already. Okay, we got to figure out how to remember these past lives. My husband like, I'm all down for it. Let's go ahead. Go half on the baby. I'm like, listen, bro. No, I don't know. I'm already 43. Like, he's still trying. Let's have I'm like, look, let's just take what we know now and wake up the ones we already got here. And then when they have babies, we can pass this information to them, right? So it also, if you've read Black Root Science, it talks about there is already a certain number of spirits that have been created, right? So you're taught that when a new baby comes into the world, that's a new soul. No, it's not. It's really not. They're really not anymore being created, so to speak. It's still these same ones. You just kind of recycling bodies each lifetime to understand more and more until you become, until you remember enough of the information from your previous, this is why I say the cartoon avatar, so you remember enough of your previous lifestyles to begin to go to that next phase of growth. So now a part of that also is when they teach the chakras. Like, all of this teaching is still out here in the earth. They just got to divide it up. You got to bring all this information together, pull it together so you can wake yourself up. Now, the only way you're going to really be able to remember past lifetimes, we call them past lifetimes, but it's a part of our entire life cycle. It's just from the physical realm, we look like we died, right? But we don't really, right? We just have to give up this body and we got to get another one to continue our training. It's like growing out of clothes, right? You got to get some new ones. All right. You done grew as much as you can. I mean, you done outgrew these. So it's time to recycle, right? Put them in the fire, get you some new clothes. That's how it is each life cycle, right? But the only way you even get the access to your previous lives or your previous training when you come back for another cycle, or when you come back in new clothes to grow some more, you have to understand about the spirit and how it's a spirit and it's locked inside of a body. And they talk about the chakras, how you unlock them. That is the only way you will be able to remember, which is why when you get up here to the third eye and the crown chakra, if you watch on the cartoons, how when you get up here, if you cut yourself off from opening up your crown chakra, you lose all the information that you've built over the multiple times of all of your learning. You can't access it. You cannot access it, y'all. You can't access it. So that's why you have to learn about the chakras. It's not demonic or whatever. It's a part of your training. It's a part of your teaching. Your complete waking up. You have to understand it. So when you get here and this is open, you can see past lifetimes. You can see into the past. You can see how, oh, I was this here and I was this here. I was named this here. This is what I learned during this cycle. This is what I learned during this cycle. You need to take all of that. You need to be able, with each cycle, you should be able to connect, open your crown, pull the information from previous trainings, add it to this life. Take it to your next step of growing until you're ready to go again, if you have to go again, right? Now, when you get to the point where you realize this, right, where you're completely awakened to this, it possibly, like, you have the opportunity again with each cycle to make this your last cycle, if that makes sense, right? Because I ain't coming to this joke again, not like this. I want to be in the unseen realm, or I'm helping them try to get through class, right? When you get to the complete awareness point, it's an opportunity for you to grow to where you don't have to repeat this level of school anymore. You can become an ascended master, from what I understand at this point in my life today, right? So when I pass from this life, this time, many years down the road, right? I'm going to go as long as I possibly can. Good strength, health. But I want this, I don't know. I say I want this to be my last cycle. Bring all this information from all previous things. I'm going to take it with me so I can go, okay, how many more times do I got to repeat this grade again? I ain't going to say I'm going to be so upset. But if I have to repeat it again, there must be something else that I really need to move on to the unseen realm forever, right? Excuse me. And it's not really unseen. It's the actual world, right? And that's where everything really takes place, right? So this is the physical realm is truly an illusion. It's like kindergarten, or it's like the pre-K of life. Well, not so much pre-K. I say pre-K is those who still haven't necessarily waking up. It's kind of like the kindergarten grade in life, where you need things to manipulate. Like, you need things to count. You need pennies and stuff. This is what this is, right? This is what Earth realm is. We need something. You needed something, so I gave you something, right? It's those lower levels. Kimball Max said, Brother Yosef talked about birthmarks, a clue to your past life pain. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I'm telling y'all just gotta look into this. All right, let me see. Let me finish. I only got a couple pages. Not a couple. I got a few. Let's finish this today. I want to finish it. Okay, hold on. What was I at? Because I get off on a tangent. Oh, right. Okay. I just start this over. With his initiations, the disciple gains certain occult powers that ever increase as he advances along the pathway of adeptship as the schools in the material world are divided into many grades. So the spiritual school in the mystery temple is divided into many stages and degrees. The disciple gradually passes from one initiation to another as he becomes more efficient in the labors which the invisible world expects him to accomplish. As he passes ever higher, he gradually increases in power, wisdom, and understanding. Not, however, until the initiate reaches a very high degree does he become independent of the bonds that curb the ordinary human being. We may say he does not become superior to law until he becomes part of the law itself, and then he is above breaking it. Even after many initiations, all the laws of human limitation hold good. Initiates are subject to birth, growth, and old age. Sickness and sorrow still confront them at every turn. They must return to this life again like other normal beings until their development carries them to a stage of consciousness much higher than that which the average individual can hope to reach in one lifetime. There are no initiates who are not clairvoyant, at least to a certain degree, for they cannot receive their spiritual ordination until they are capable of functioning consciously out of the physical body. Let me read that again. Listen. I know this today, as of this day, to be true. There are no initiates who are not clairvoyant, at least to a certain degree, for they cannot receive their spiritual ordination until they are capable of functioning consciously out of the body. Neither are there any true initiates who do not know their true position. Many people come and say, I had a strange experience in my sleep. Was it an initiation? The answer in nearly every case is negative. The initiate is in doubt neither to where what he has accomplished nor what he has been through. Let me read that again. Hold on. Many people come and say, I had a strange experience in my sleep. Was it an initiation? The answer in nearly every case is negative. The initiate is in doubt neither as to what he has accomplished nor what he has been through. The average student can ask himself, what am I here? What am I here and now? Am I worthy to be picked for greater responsibility? If I were a master with all the world to choose from, would I choose myself for great and responsible works? If I would not, with my narrow sight, would the master be deceived by the slender virtues I possess and choose me when there are others much more fit? There are no adepts or masters in this world or upon the invisible planes who have not passed through all the sorrows and uncertainties of human experience. They have reached their present position because they have mastered those uncertainties and have risen above the circumstances which chain most people to the selfish side of life. All of the great ones have passed sequentially and gradually from ignorance to wisdom. None was made overnight. Each was tempted, and each was strong through the moments of temptation. All were persecuted. Many died for their ideals, preferring wisdom above all treasure and truth. Many died for their ideals, preferring wisdom above all treasure and truth above all power. Each initiate who now sits in session with the elder brothers has earned his position by consecration, intelligence, and sincerity. Not money. You ain't bribing nobody to get into the schools. Halazar, shalom. Francis, shalom. We're reading what the ancient wisdom expects of its disciples. Oh, you put it. Thanks, Mom. She put it up there. Yeah, you can get it from Amazon. You can download it. On Kindle, you can actually download the Audible, which takes you about an hour and a half to listen to, maybe 2 hours. And you can also order the book, right? And each one, if you click on Audible, paperback, or Kindle, each one is going to give you a different cover, but it's the same information inside of all of them, right? If you get the Kindle, it's the orange cover. If you listen to the Audible, it's like a lighter, softer color with purple and pink in it. And if you order the paperback, it's going to come in this. I got all of them. It's all the same information on inside all of them. So get it. This is what I'm telling y'all need to have. This is just like this. You know how you keep your like Swiss Army knife on your keychain, something you need to keep on you at all times, like Visa. Don't leave home without it. This is probably like our Visa. It's like checking in, okay, make sure I'm keeping myself on track, right? I mean, aside from the scriptures and things, you know. But this is wisdom jam-packed into these small little 50 pages. 50 pages that is good to read at least once a month. I'm telling you, it'll help you stay woke. Okay, look, okay. Each initiate who now sits in session with the elder brothers has earned his position by consecration, intelligence, and sincerity. These are the magic keys which open the gates of the mystery schools. These are the magic keys which open the gates of the mystery schools. Now, you go online. You can go online, especially on YouTube. And it's different people trying to teach you about mystery schools and the ancient mysteries and things. People can think they teaching you, or people can share with you. Like what I'm doing, I'm simply sharing with you what I've learned, right? But you're not really going to see that until you take the personal steps in life. Like if you're trying to get into the mystery schools, like people getting into the Freemasonry and all these other things, you don't get into it like that, because some of these require you to do some things that are uncouth. Like my mama said, that is uncouth. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend, although you got a brotherhood, sisterhood, fellowship, and all those good things. This is just like you're repeating rituals that will lead you nowhere. Now, for those who are truly searching and don't get caught all up in fellowship is always good. You need people to fellowship with. But if you don't get sidetracked with all of that, right, and you don't lose your purpose on what you were searching for, you will not, because some people, they start looking for things and then they feel like they got to connect with someone. I got to join this church, or I got to join this thing here to be a part of it. But those who are in search for truth, we're not joining any kind of organization, right? We came out of that, cutting ourselves off from the church, right? It's not about joining places. It's going in, getting the information you need, and moving along when it's your time to move along. You've gotten everything that you needed to get while you were there. Now it's time to go, right? And that's why I think memberships and get people screwed up and paying dues and stuff. Even with the Holy Megillah, when you get it, they're going to send you paperwork to join their little faction. I'm not telling y'all to do that. I haven't joined it. I don't plan on, not saying that you should. I don't know, but get what I'm saying. I'm going to get the information that's needed for this point, right? I'll fellowship with them. They even have that for those that don't want to join but still want the fellowship. They got all that stuff set up, right? And that's cool. But when we join places, it's like we tend to get stagnant sometime, and we lose the focus of why we're really there, right? We're truth seekers. We're searching for truth, right? And we want to keep growing. But when you lock yourself into a place and doing that, you lock yourself. Not saying that you shouldn't. Get what I'm saying, y'all. Take what you can use. Get rid of what you can't. Some people may need to join something for a period of time, right? But if they put you through hell for you to get out, and they strike your name from all kind of books when you say it's time for you to move on. I love y'all. Like, oh, you leaving us now? If they're gonna give you all that, you probably should have never even considered, just like, I just need to get this now. I see y'all. Thank you, brother. Thank you, sister. I'm going about my way. I'm gonna take this though. I'm gonna go ahead. What's the price? You don't need to give me no discount. I pay full price for this. $100, I give you $100. Okay, thank you. And I go off and learn my truth, right? But don't have me joining something that's gonna get me all screwed up again of what I'm trying to unscrew, right? Y'all get it. I'm gonna read this again. You get into the mystery schools, y'all. And it's great people out there who are teaching you about mystery schools and hidden things. But the only way you can access it is through these keys: consecration, intelligence, and sincerity, right? You ain't getting into no true mystery school being a vagabond, running from your responsibilities, all these other things. Yes, Francis, it's a universal connection, right? It's a universal connection, right? And that's how you access. That's how you get the keys. That's how you legitimately get a key to go open the door, right? You can't get in there through no back doors, through the windows. You gonna have the guard dogs waiting for you. You step your foot through that window on the inside of this house, inside of this school, when you have not been authorized to do so. Now you are accounted as an intruder, and intruders are dealt with as such, right? That's why you got a lot of demon-possessed people running around here. You didn't try to access something you didn't get proper authorization for. Ooh. Okay. Each initiate who now sits in session with the elder brothers has earned his position by consecration, intelligence, and sincerity. These are the magic keys which open the gates to the mystery schools. Again and again, the question is asked, how can we know an initiate if we come in contact with one? We can only answer, by their works ye shall know them. After analyzing the lives and habits of those initiates who were able to recognize, after analyzing the lives and habits of those initiates whom we are able to recognize with our limited vision, we find that they all adhere to a general series of rules. Conditions are altered by the needs of the moment, but among the ancient manifestos, we find hints as to the conduct of adepts and mystics. For many hundreds of years, the true adepts and initiates shrouded themselves in an impenetrable veil of mystery. This procedure served many ends. First, it protected the initiates from the endless inconveniences to which they would be subjected by the curious and the credulous. It also permitted them to live quietly and silently, to study and pray, unknown and suspected even by their next door neighbor. Then again, it multiplied the power which they had over a world which could not oppose them because it could not discover them. And lastly, it enabled these schools and their disciples to escape the persecutions of religious bigotry and intolerance that have always been felt when man sought to discover God without the benefit of clergy, right? Burn them at the stake, they're a witch, right? And that's exactly what clergy would do for the real initiates when they find out, oh, you got more power than we? Burn them, they're a witch. Oh boy, that's still real today, y'all. I'm telling y'all. Read this again. This is why they go into hiding. This is why they are secretive, right? Because the unprepared, the unwilling to prepare themselves and want to get it real quick, they're ready to take it from you by any means necessary when they haven't gone through the proper procedures and proper channels of self-discipline to get it or to earn it themselves. Anybody can earn it. Anybody can get it. But you have to go through the proper channels. You have to develop yourself to be able to hold it and be righteous with it, right? Because you get something to get a hold of it. But those are the vagabonds out here in the world, taking advantage of people, doing all kinds of uncouth things in this world, right? Read this again. For many hundreds of years, the true adepts and initiates shrouded themselves in an impenetrable veil of mystery. Oh, and a good series I would say to watch if you haven't heard of it. It's on Netflix. It's called Merlin, right? I'm almost through this series. I'm like, yo, there is so much spiritual truth in Merlin. That is crazy. And it's pretty much going through this whole era when they're banning magic, right? You have some wicked magic workers out there, right? Some sorcerers, warlocks, and all that stuff who are taking what they've learned and they're using it to conquer people. But there were just as many of those who developed their gifts and kept themselves shrouded in privacy who were actually doing good And they just kind of got swept away with everybody else. Everybody is labeled magic is bad altogether. No good can come of it. So now you're dealing with the king from Camelot that's banning magic all over the world. And if they find somebody who has magic, yes.
After you're done with your video, can I watch Harry Potter?
Boy, move. We'll see. You ain't got to do that. You can go cut it on now.
Yeah.
Or you want to watch it with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Make me feel special. You want to wait and watch it with me? Okay. So, but what you find out when you watch this series, Merlin, everybody know the name Merlin. When you think of Merlin, you think of magic, right? But it's really good. You got to go watch it, you know, if you into those kind of things. But it gives a lot of spiritual truths. So the king of Camelot, and the king's son is Arthur, and Merlin is Merlin is Arthur's servant, right? Arthur, the great knights of the round table. He's a great warrior and everything. And he's kind of arrogant. But when you get to know him, the arrogant is really a show, but he's really a good guy, deep at heart. And he's not against magic so much like his father is. And his father is completely against it. He said it's all wicked, it's all evil. But his father carries great secrets because his own son Arthur was conceived by magic, right? And that's why he wants to keep it hidden from everybody, which puts everybody's life in turmoil. You have people even in the king's ward, or those under his command, who have magic, right? And it's not like it was they weren't seeking for it. They were like born with it. They explained, they said magic is like you're either born with it or you're not. Like you either have it or you're not. And some people, even in the king's ward, realize that they have magic. So they spending their whole life in bondage trying to keep it hidden. Because as soon as the king find out somebody knows how to do something magical, he beheads them. They burn them at the stake, right? I'm like, whoo. I'm like, Morgana's going to have a time keeping this up because she has dreams and visions. And that falls in the line of magic and dreams and visions that come true, where she have to think of something to warn people without telling them exactly how she knows, right? So people are making up lies to warn the king about certain things that are coming upon Camelot against his people. And the king is like, oh, well, how did you come across this information? Well, sir, it wouldn't be fair. It's a helper, you know. And so I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, this is still going on today, right? And so the king counts everything, all magic, no matter if it's good or bad. He sees no difference between the two. He said all of it is evil. All of them need to die. But as you go on in the story a little bit, you understand why he feels that way, right? He just kind of got a little bad taste and he lost his love. And when his wife conceived his son, she died, you know. So all of these things and why he was completely against it. But everything that was keeping Camelot alive was the people in Camelot who had magic, who was keeping it hidden, who had magic, keeping it hidden, but informing the king because of their dreams and their visions, letting him know, king, you might want to, all right, you know. And so, but it's really exciting watching. I'm like, oh my gosh, they are going to be discovered. Oh my gosh. And Arthur still doesn't know that Merlin has magic, but magic has saved King Arthur's butt. The great knight of the King's Round Table has saved his butt just about every single day. I ain't gonna tell y'all no more. I probably gave y'all too much, but you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. It's really, really good. And it helps you, especially if you're on a search for truth and you're getting it and you running into the whole magical portion of things and trying to understand that. It helps bring a lot of light to some of these things, right? Okay. For many hundreds of years, the true adepts and initiates shrouded themselves in an impenetrable veil of mystery. This procedure served many ends. First, it protected the initiates from the endless inconveniences to which they would be subjected to by the curious and the credulous. Yes. All right. It also permitted them to live quietly and silently, to study and pray, unknown and unsuspected, even by their next door neighbor. And then again, it multiplied the power which they had over a world which could not oppose them because it could not discover them. And lastly, it enabled these schools and their disciples to escape the persecutions of religious bigotry and intolerance that have always been felt when man sought to discover God without the benefit of clergy. Oh, you're welcome, Francis. Oh, look, let me just make a correction here with Francis. A few times before I knew that Francis was a male, I was saying sis. Let me publicly apologize for that already because, kind of talk private message. Francis Peters is a male. He was named after somebody in his family that happened to have the name Francis. So a lot of time we hear the name Francis, we automatically think female. But this Francis Peters is a male, just in case, I figure I should say that out loud. And you're welcome, Francis. Okay. The Egyptian Sphinx is supposed to have pointed out the initiate's code of conduct by the symbolic interpretation of the four creatures composing it. The body of the bull with its great strength was interpreted to mean the process of labor, to do. The legs and tail of the lion speak of courage and are interpreted as meaning to dare. The wings of the eagle bespeak of loftier things, so they are interpreted as to aspire. The human head with its sealed lips means to be silent. Of all these rules, the last is the most important. And we see this beast with the four heads also in the Bible teaching us the same thing, but we are not taught about it that way. All the great secrets in the mystery schools of the unseen realm, it's in every religion. You just got uninitiated or unlearned people trying to teach you about something that they have no clue about, right? This beast with the four heads. All right, let me read it again. The Egyptian Sphinx is supposed to have pointed out the initiate's code of conduct by the symbolic interpretation of the four creatures composing it. The body of the bull with its great strength was interpreted to mean the process of labor, to do. The legs and tail of the lion speak of courage and are interpreted as meaning to dare. The wings of the eagle bespeak of loftier things, so they are interpreted as to aspire. The human head with its sealed lips means to be silent. Of all these rules, the last is the most important. Of the ancient occult axioms was, if ye know it, be silent. One of the ancient occult axioms was, if ye know it, be silent. You know what? I'm changing everything today. This is going to be our title. If ye know it, be silent. That's our title for today. Today, in both the Orthodox and occult worlds of religious thought, there is entirely too much talking. There are many claiming powers and virtues which they do not possess. Places of worship have become institutions of debate, while cliques and clans are breaking off in all directions because idealism has been wreaked on the rocks of petty personality. I'll read it again because it was just good. Places of worship have become institutions of debate, while cliques and clans are breaking off in all directions because idealism has been wrecked on the rocks of petty personality. There is a surfeit of initiates, but little wisdom. There is a multitude of pedagogues and demigods, but all together cannot keep peace in their own ranks, let alone convert the Gentiles. Nearly all this comes from too much talking. And we can see it all over YouTube, right? Everybody talking too much. Getting in fights with one another, debating, having these debates coming on. Everybody need to shut up and get to work. Now, I'm telling you, if you watching and you one of them, shut up, get to work. Y'all do too much talking. Look at the pot calling the kettle black. I'm over my time today. Okay, let me finish this. I really want to finish this. I only got a couple more pages, y'all. If y'all got to go, just come back. But I want to go ahead and finish this so we can start both of the new books anew tomorrow. Okay. There is a multitude of pedagogues and demigods, but all together cannot keep peace in their own ranks, let alone convert the Gentiles. Nearly all of this comes from too much talking and making light of serious matters. The names of the masters have been dragged in the mud. The mystery schools have merely become part of paraphernalia with which to juggle commercial psychology, and the spirit of reverence and love which the ancient world felt for its initiates have been lost in our day because of the host of false initiates and fraudulent psychologists. A true occultist, be he student, disciple, or initiate, never discloses his position to any except those equally interested and equally sincere along similar lines. He should do his work incognito, veiling the truths he has learned in the simple language of the street, telling men what they should do, not what he himself is, urging, suggesting, but never forcing either his opinions or his philosophies upon others. Neither is he puffed up by applause or disheartened by criticism, right? So veiling the truths in simple street language is what you call parables, right? Same thing JC did, veiling the truths in parables. And those who are seeking for it will pick up them nuggets and they'll run with it and they'll hold them dear to their heart. Anybody else is going to trample the truth that they do not recognize, neither can they understand. He should do his work incognito, veiling the truths he has learned in the simple language of the street, telling men what they should do, not what he himself is, urging, suggesting, but never forcing either his opinions or his philosophies upon others. Neither is he puffed up by applause, nor disheartened by criticism. He should labor quietly in the fields where he finds himself. He should always be inconspicuous, silent, and unobtrusive. He should labor diligently, allowing his work and not his tongue to speak for him. An initiate or disciple should never state his position publicly, nor should he discuss his spiritual aspirations. If he has been privileged to view spiritual phenomena in his own life, if he has been taken out of his body or is developing clairvoyant powers, these are the most sacred things in his life, right? And I read through this. I'm like, I'm going to have to backpedal on what I said with everybody on sharing some of the stuff, because some stuff like I'm experiencing, I still haven't went back and reshared on why I say everybody post your experiences. I'm like, well, maybe that wasn't such a wise thing, because everybody shouldn't have the privilege to hear those things, especially if they're not ready, right? And so I think I'll leave up there what's up there, but I'm not going to do any further posts to it. Neither am I asking you guys to do any. Matter of fact, I might make an update and say why I'm going to leave this, but I'm not requiring anybody to do that. That's for your own personal growth. And those are pearls that you're going to continue to get and going to grow from. And it shouldn't be shared with anybody, especially not put on the internet where every kind of Tom, Dick, and Harry can get it and piss on it, right? Don't share it. You know, those are pearls. Keep them. Hold on. Yesterday when we were moving, a little boy stopped and said, "Can I play with this box?" The box had a curtain rod and a glass ball on one end. The first thing he said when he picked up the curtain rod, he said, "I'm a wizard and I'm finna go to Magic Land." Me and Robert looked at each other and smiled like, yeah, that's it. Wow. That's amazing. Okay, I get it, y'all. If nobody else get it, I get it. Look, okay. Let me finish reading this. An initiate or disciple should never state his position publicly, nor should he discuss his spiritual aspirations. If he has been privileged to view spiritual phenomena in his own life, if he has been taken out of his body or is developing clairvoyant powers, these are the most sacred things in his life. They should never be spoken of in public, for they are sacred to him and his master. To discuss personal powers is the worst breach of etiquette conceivable in the occult world, y'all. That's good enough to repeat 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times to infinity. To discuss personal powers is the worst breach of etiquette conceivable in the occult world. And remember, occult means hidden, in the hidden world. Elazar said, "I found your channel and your videos have helped me to leave a Hebrew Israelite cult where they were abusing us. Do you still believe in the Bible and Torah?" First of all, may y'all be blessed that you were able to break free from such foolishness. Do I still believe in the Bible and the Torah? I do. I still hold the Torah in high respect. I do, right? You will never find me talking bad about it. I will call out shenanigans, that I will do, but there is truth in it. Even though the Torah has been screwed with, just like the New Testament, all this stuff that we've bought out. If you go through and watch a lot of the older videos, we kind of bring some of those things out. but there's still wisdom there, right? I would never talk about it because the truth is hidden in there, and it's hidden through different stories and, you know, some of the regular language and everything. But a lot of people, they get married to the stories and don't realize that there were lessons, some of them not even actually true, right? Even in the Torah, some of those things didn't actually happen for real in real life, although a lot of it is being taught like it is. Some of them are really just illusions and analogies and what's another word? They're simply stories with truth wrapped in it, right? The way we understand things or we retain information a lot of times is if it's given to us in story form, right? If you can remember the story, once you remember the story, you will be able to remember the principle and the way it should flow. Once you're enlightened to the principles and the truth behind the children's stories. Yeah, so yes, I do. You know, I love it. I still read it daily. I really do. You know, but we're learning more things and bringing in the other information to help us to really understand the truth that it was given and been taught to us wrong. So yes, Alazar, you're welcome. Okay, we about to finish this, y'all. To discuss personal powers is the worst breach of etiquette conceivable in the occult or the hidden world. Looking back over the lives of initiates, we note several things concerning which were most exacting. We are sorry to find that students of today are rather lax in these things. Therefore, we suggest for your consideration the following. And it lists, I think this is about the end of it. It's listing, it's different things he's listing, and it's going from A to H. Okay. Therefore, we suggest your consideration for the following. A, all true occultists, or those who are hidden, those who keep things hidden, not those, when you hear occultists, don't get it screwed up thinking demon worship and all that. Don't do that, right? It's simply those who understand those things that are hidden, that have been hidden from the masses, right? And they're not like filthy. True occultists are those who are walking in purity. They're consecrating their lives. When you learn about it, you will see that there's a big difference from what they truly are and what the world, who don't want you to tap into what they know, are teaching you they are. Okay. Looking back over the lives of initiates, we note several things concerning which they were most exacting. We are sorry to find that students of today are rather lax in these things. Therefore, we suggest for your consideration the following. A, all true occultists abide by the laws of the nations and the community in which they dwell. While in many cases they recognize these laws as imperfect, they abide by them, least by their moral example. They should teach the less intelligent to break the restraining bonds of law and order, right? Torah also teaches us that, right? You obey the law, right? Right? But the law is for lawbreakers. Once the law becomes a part of you, you literally become the law, or you become above the law, so to speak, because you don't break it. Not that you take advantage of it and lord what you know over people. No, you become above the law when the law doesn't need to be applied to you because of your wicked ways, right? And your out of controlness. While in many cases they recognize these laws as imperfect, they abide by them, least by their moral example, they should teach the less intelligent to break the restraining bonds of law and order. It is said that the laws are made for those who break them. We may add that laws were not made for initiates, but there is a very small minority of people intelligent enough to live together honestly without the assistance of law. No matter how bad these laws are, they are far superior to the lawlessness which would exist when the mental hazard of punishment is removed from the untrained and unregenerated man. From time to time, occultists are dragged into court because they have failed to set a good example to their fellow creatures. There is no doubt that the element of persecution which existed in the Middle Ages is still to be found in places that many are unjustly persecuted. But still, there are entirely too many who, feeling that their spirituality is superior to that of their fellow creatures, deliberately ignore the law. Especially is this true with the wildly fantastic soulmate and free love institutions. These things are not sanctioned under any conditions by the ancient wisdom, for the mystery schools themselves instituted the legal bond of matrimony. Ooh. Anything which suggests the breaking of existing laws without first preparing a better law for the mass of the uninformed is outside the pale of ancient wisdom. B. True occultists break no laws, regardless of how unjust they may be. If they see injustice, they labor to introduce more just legislation. A notable example of this is found in the life of Abraham Lincoln. Some people might get a little perturbed by this, but listen to what he's saying. And when I really understood this, I'm like, oh, I can see that. I can see that. Listen, okay. A notable example of this is found in the life of Abraham Lincoln. Many times, slaves came to him before the Civil War, begging him to assist them to escape from their lives of servitude. This Lincoln refused to do because it was against the law. But he told them that while he would never break the existing statutes, he would consecrate his life to making a better law. It is in this spirit that all occultists must work with injustice, for in this way truth is established without the rioting and Bolshevism of lawlessness. You might have to read that a few times, especially the people who look like me, right? And who are on the path to truth, because every different race has different things that they run into. But I'm saying it because I'm from here, and this is like my life, and we deal in this. This is like real life for us and what we have to deal with what's going on and how we've personally been treated, right? As you come into the light of truth, first of all, you are awakened to the illusions of what this world is and the different schools that you have been placed in because of the type of spirit you are and how your spirit needs to be developed, right? The type of spirits we have where it needs to be developed in a way that if you don't fall off the path of truth and you don't get yourself hooked up in hate groups and people that's just all, not saying that the unity with Black power is not good. I'm not saying that. I'm not against it. But what I am against is some of the ways that we try to change the laws, right? By trying to change some of the laws that have been against us, we end up breaking the laws and becoming lawless ourselves. I probably understand that better than I ever did any of my previous years before 2022, right? Because some of my videos that I did before, I wish I hadn't said some of the things out of my mouth that I said. I really do. I repent of some of those things, but now as I'm growing, I'm like, oh boy, I was so ignorant. I'm still ignorant. I'm like, okay, I'm understanding a little bit more. There are ways to, without throwing the entire world into an upheaval, not, get what I'm saying, y'all. Get what I'm saying? There are some people who are absolutely lawless, and not just our people, all over the world. I'm not trying to turn this into an all about us type thing, but you find it in every race and group of people, right? And I'm just talking about this because this is the part of the world or the life that I come from, that I've personally experienced, right? If you go to somebody else's place, they'll talk about it from their experience. Just like I talk about the foolishness in Christianity. I was there. I know it firsthand. I come out of that. So my audience is to those who have the same experiences I did and how to break free from a lot of these things. And even when you come out to church and you learn about the Hebrew roots and all that stuff and getting caught up into some of the Hebrew cults and stuff, and it's like they put you back into bondage, but it looks just a little bit different. Lorette Shalom. So if we can kind of remember that, I'm not trying to harp on and just try to make us a thing, because I'm not, but I'm learning as I come into more truth how to break myself away from those mental bonds and slavery that hasn't just been put on our people, but they have literally been put on every race of people. And this might sound horrible, but it was kind of designed to be that way, because it helps you as you begin to wake up to truth. you can kind of navigate your way out of that maze, and you kind of get a bird's eye view instead of the view from standing on the ground. Can't see too much standing on the ground. You have to come up a little bit higher to see that everybody's still going in that same circle, in that mousetrap, right? Whether it's Christianism, Islam, Buddhism, all this other stuff, right? You have to be able to come up to see a little bit higher to understand what Abraham Lincoln was doing, right? It just makes sense to me that way. All right, listen, I read it again. B, true occultists break no laws, regardless of how unjust they may be. If they see injustice, they labor to introduce more just legislation. A notable example of this is found in the life of Abraham Lincoln. Many times, slaves came to him before the Civil War, begging him to assist them to escape from their lives of servitude. This Lincoln refused to do because it was against the law, but he told them that while he would never break the existing statutes, he would consecrate his life to making a better law, right? So you got laws that you absolutely can't break, but sometimes you can get around laws by creating a higher law, right? Just like it, that's easy to see with the law of gravity, right? I know some people ain't gravity. All right, whatever. So everybody can stay on the same page. The law of gravity. Airplanes, they're not breaking the law of gravity. They've just found a higher law to operate that will supersede the laws of gravity, the law of thrust and lift that will keep them safe. They're not breaking the law of gravity. They just found a way to get around it legally and still get to their destination safely and take millions of people with them, right? It's the same way with this. You just have to find a law that's legal that supersedes the one that you're trying to get above. Just like in ranks, sometimes you don't like what your supervisor says, your supervisor, you might need to go to the law that supersedes your supervisor, which is their manager. Can I speak to your manager, please? I don't really like what you said. I mean, you get it both ways. You just have to find a law that's a little bit higher, that adhere and will work with you by not breaking this law, right? Same thing. We can see it everywhere. I just saw your comment, Alazar. Right back into bondage. Left the church to go to a Hebrew church. That's exactly what it is, right? And they just changed the terms. They stopped calling Jesus, and they start calling him Yahusha, Yeshua. Yeah, they just changed everything, but you're doing the same exact stuff. Still waiting for the rapture to happen. You call it something different. And you just waiting on the Messiah to pick you up from Babylon. Still the same thing. What, boo?
Is there tomatoes in this?
No.
Yay!
Okay, let me finish. Hold on, y'all. Okay, I keep saying that. Look. Many times, slaves came to him before the Civil War, begging him to assist them to escape from their lives of servitude. This Lincoln refused to do because it was against the law, but he told them that while he would never break the existing statutes, he would consecrate his life to making a better law. It is in this spirit that all occultists must work with injustice, for in this way truth is established without the rioting and Bolshevism of lawlessness. C. All occultists and initiates should assume the dress and customs of the nations or people among whom they dwell, lest any departure from that custom shall cause them to be unduly conspicuous. Like, so you got people, it's like you got to become like a gray man. And a gray man, it's funny, I was teaching my oldest son, well, not oldest, but my 18-year-old Jeremiah, who was talking about becoming a gray man. And a gray man is not somebody that's hidden, but you are hidden in plain sight. The purpose of a gray man is to make people believe that you are what you want them to believe you are, right? So if you this kung fu assassin samurai warrior, you're not going to walk through your city with your samurai warrior assassin suit on and your katanas and all the swords and stuff. You ain't going to walk through there looking like that through your town. If you want people to believe that you are a soccer mom, you're going to hide your assassin warrior garb and you're going to dress like a soccer mom. You're going to do the things that soccer moms do, right? That's what being a true gray man is. And that's what we must become as we get on the road to truth, right? We must also become gray men. We have to blend in, right? So when people don't look at us, oh, you a monk, or you doing this, like, you don't wear all this crazy garb and you single yourself out, kind of like what the Hebrew camps do. They putting on all this flashy purple stuff. I'm like, they out here looking like the circus. I mean, forgive me, y'all. I'm like, so they gonna have targets on their head. You singling yourself out. Why would you do that? You know, so I understand that. I really understand that from being in the military, right? You aren't really when you're not on duty, you're not to go out here walking around in civilization with your gear on, right? Go take it off. Nobody should know that you're in the military, except for like close friends and those who you associate with. But I should be able to go to the store and nobody know that I'm an admiral in the United States Marines or the United States Navy, right? Nobody should know that, right? It also becomes a point of defense. That becomes your weapon, right? It's your weapon and it's secret, right? Chinese Goji is my secret. I bear no arms. You know, it should be your secret. You don't need to broadcast that to the world, because when you do, you bring undue attention to yourself. Now you got those, oh, you in the army, don't look like you in the army. I think I can take you. I'm a little bit bigger. You just gonna bring people out of the woodworks attacking you for no good reason except for your own foolishness of flaunting who you are and your gifts and stuff, because there's somebody out there in the street that think they're a little bit bigger and badder than you, and they're gonna try and prove that to you. Don't do that. Become a great man. Blend in with where you live. If you're living in amongst a community of monks and they all wear these orange garbs, then by golly, go to the nearest general store and get you an orange garb and look like them, right? If you're in a military town and everybody walk around in their BDUs, all that, then you can walk around in your BDUs, right? Blend in, become a great man, be who they think you are, right? But keeping your secret to yourself, that's your own private wisdom and weapon. I'm gonna read it again. C, all occultists and initiates should assume the dress and customs of the nation or the people among whom they dwell, lest any departure from that custom shall cause them to be unduly conspicuous. This is one of the strictest rules of the ancient wisdom teachers, and it is found among the old manifestos of the Rosicrucian Brotherhood. D, a true adept and initiate shall reveal his identity to no man unless that one is worthy to receive it. The secret work which they have been permitted to have is a two-edged sword. When they have prepared themselves to receive it, it was good for them. But by promiscuously giving it to others, they could do great harm. Therefore, they reveal to no man the secret instructions they have received, nor the source from whence it came, being satisfied to disseminate it quietly and inconspicuously. When questioned concerning these things, they state their position and then remain silent. This privilege to remain silent, they defend with their lives. Yes.
Where you gonna go after?
Nowhere. And so also, if you go through and you watch that series Merlin, you will see this is one of the main things that his teacher was teaching him. He said, reveal who you are to no one, Merlin, not even to Arthur, not even to those you love and you think you can trust. Do not reveal it to them, right? And you can see this was one of the hardest things for Merlin, not revealing that he was a true wizard. The dragon called him young warlock, right? Just identifying the power he had. And he grew up with these powers on the inside of him, not knowing why they came, why they were happening, but they've always defended him and saved his life. Even when he didn't know, it would just happen and save his life or save somebody around him, right? Because he was a good wizard or a good warlock, if you want to say. He was using magic in a good way, right? But he had to keep it a secret, otherwise they would kill young Merlin. Y'all gotta watch it. I'm telling you, that's so good. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, we had 2 hours. Y'all, I'm gonna finish this because I got like 2.5 pages. I'm be done. So I'm gonna just go through it. If you gotta go, y'all, it's Sunday. I mean, y'all sit in Sunday service for longer periods of time than this. See this through. Would have been done if I quit adding in my stories. Okay. D. The true adept and initiate shall reveal his identity to no man unless that one is worthy to receive it. The secret work which they have been permitted to have is a two-edged sword. When they have prepared themselves to receive it, it was good for them, but by promiscuously giving it to others, they could do great harm. Therefore, they reveal to no man the secret instructions which they have received, nor the source from whence it came, being satisfied to disseminate it quietly and inconspicuously. When questioned concerning these things, they state their position and then remain silent. This privilege to remain silent, they defend with their lives. Being silent on these things is definitely a great privilege, right? Oh, boy. Shayla, hey girl, hey, that's why, boo. Okay, C. The true initiate and disciple shall never be boisterous or declamatory in his statements, nor radical in his viewpoints, nor encourage such conditions among those with whom he comes in contact, nor speak for his organization or his masters. The true initiate has no will but the will of his masters, nor does he palm off his own judgment as having any more important origin than his own brain. He must take no radical steps unless commanded to do so by the great brothers who have the lives of men in their care. You will see this a lot in church, right? People who claim to have certain type of gifts, and they do actually have gifts, they'll come out and they'll just automatically put the Lord said on everything instead of knowing. If they truly knew, they would never have to put a title on what they were saying, because they know and understand they're walking at authority. I don't have to walk around here saying I'm the supervisor because I'm the supervisor, or no, I'm sorry. I don't have to walk around here saying that the supervisor left early and gave me the charge of everything. I don't need to walk around here saying, in the name of the supervisor, do this and do this, or you gonna get this when the supervisor come back. I don't need you to do that. The supervisor gave you the power. Go get this done, please. Don't, be a good person. Don't be like, go get it done because I said no. That ain't how you deal with people. But like, okay, we got this set out like this. So if you don't mind, because I know you're good over here, I put you over here because you freaking rock this area. So you would be a great asset over here. So you do this, you handle this part, you in charge of this over here, you do that. Your talents are awesome right here, right? Be a good supervisor. Even if you aren't the true supervisor, but you were given the supervisionary powers, be wise with it. So you gain an army around you and not people that's ready to burn you at the stake. Right? Look, but you see this in church. The Lord said, and the Lord said this, and thus the Lord, and this, Jesus told me, and I'm like, oh, what you just breathe and blink your eyes. Okay. But you see that a lot in church. I just want to bring that out. Okay. The true initiate has no will but the will of his masters, nor does he palm off his own judgment as having any more important origin than his own brain. He must take no radical steps unless commanded to do so by the great brothers who have the lives of men in their care. F. When dwelling in a community, initiates shall be peace-loving, simple, kindly, charitable, and not critical of those about them, making themselves invaluable through their intelligence and their integrity. They shall watch their conduct day and night, that it may in no way reflect against the exalted organization of which they bear witness. They shall be humble in all things, willing and glad to do the most menial labor, if it will add to the welfare and progress of their fellow creatures. It shall be said of such a one as of the Master Jesus, that he went about doing good. G. Under no conditions shall they use any of the spiritual powers which they possess. Under no conditions shall they use any of the spiritual powers which they may possess for their own aggrandizement or protection, unless such is for the unselfish good of others. They got that all chopped and screwed and backwards in the church. Everybody building their own kingdom with the powers they have and taking all the money from the people that trust them. It is against the law of all occultism to apply any knowledge which is of a supernatural nature for the salvation, preservation, or the improvement of self. As stated by the Master Jesus, others could help, but he himself could not save. As stated of the Master Jesus, others he could help, but himself he could not save. For this reason, modern psychology and mental magic of various kinds are contrary to the orders of the ancient wisdom. For by modern psychologists, the student is taught these spiritual gifts that he may use for his own aggrandizement. H. Under no condition is the teacher warranted in exacting pay for the spiritual instructions for which he gives, for no money was paid to receive them, nor is any coin of the realm a payment for them. Everybody got this chopped and screwed, right? Because we know they are not really being led by the unseen world, right? They're being led by their own selfishness and furtherment of themselves. I'm going to read this again. I know ain't none of y'all here doing this, but y'all may have come from somewhere that did it to you. Under no condition is the teacher warranted in exacting pay. It don't matter if you on YouTube. Go, my PayPal is down here. Go ahead and shoot me a cash app if you enjoy what I'm teaching. No. Let me get on with this, y'all. Under no condition is the teacher warranted in exacting pay for the spiritual instructions which he gives, for no money was paid to receive them, nor is any coin of the realm, dollars, euros, Bitcoin, Cash App, Zelle, none of the coins of this realm, gold and silver included, right? For no money was paid to receive them, nor is any coin of the realm payment for them. The student assumes his share of responsibility, and ingratitude is one of the major sins of occultism. When a student who is in a position to assist retards, when a student who is in a position to assist retards through his miserliness the work of the master, such a one assumes all the karmic debts incurred as a result of his failure to cooperate. No student should study occultism with the object of using it as a commercial enterprise. Such will never see either the masters or the temple. The foregoing may throw some light on the reason why it is so difficult to determine the position of the ancient initiates. Their reticence and humble spirit have seldom found a place on the pages of history, and yet they are the real molders of the destinies of nations. They are the invisible powers behind the thrones of earth, and men are but marionettes dancing while the invisible ones pull the strings. We see the dancer, but the mastermind that does the work remains concealed by the cloak of silence. A follower of the master or of any of the 7 great schools which have been established in order to disseminate the ancient wisdom is not privileged to call himself a member of any occult order or school until he has passed one or more actual initiations in the spiritual temple of the order to which he has been drawn by his planetary lights. The reading of literature, the payment of fees, the signing of pledges does not make the student an occultist or a member of any of the true spiritual orders. Only by the first initiation in the spiritual temple is he made a true member. He may join this society, that organization, or the other brotherhood and so state, but he is thus affiliating himself only with an exoteric order. His true membership comes from with his entrance into the temple, which contains the spiritual hierarchy that animates and vivifies the outer material institution. Time and time again, we find students, disciples, and even initiates of the lower orders who, through a certain remnant of egotism still remaining in their natures, have brought disgrace upon the thing which they truly love. This usually results from some ignominious failure which they make, and which, because they have incessantly emphasized their spiritual position, is laid at the door of the school which they claim to represent. With a slight revision of scriptural phraseology, today many people say, "What good thing can come out of occultism?" This attitude is the result of the great spiritual schools being humiliated again and again by the abject failure of some of their disciples. This condition is largely the result of egotism, for the disciple is unable to stand a little dignity without making sure that everyone knew about it. Egotism is one of the most serious of human failings that the occultist has to overcome, for it makes him insensible to his own worthiness, of which no true disciple should ever lose sight. In this day of religious thought, most people desire to belong to something. Like barnacles, they attach themselves to the ship of human progress, and finally, when a sufficient number of these crustaceans have attached themselves with their hard-shelled opinions, the ship either sinks under the weight, or like some of our occult organizations, they must go into dry dock and have its incrustations removed. When you claim membership in anything, when we talk about this, when you claim membership in anything, ask yourself whether that institution is as proud of having you as a member as you are of claiming membership in it. Most people join spiritual movements to gain something for themselves. They become parasites, living off a tree of wisdom which another man has planted and cultivated. True people affiliate themselves with the mystery schools, not to better themselves, but to serve that institution faithfully and well. Until they feel that they are a credit to it in every sense of the word, they do not wish to have their name linked with that of which they are not a worthy representative. Instead of claiming membership in this, that, or the other, and thus casting reflection upon the integrity of the masters, let us take another of the ancient rules for our standard, and in this way uphold the dignity of the superior thing. Let us suppose that you have just joined the ancient religious order which was called Gnosticism. We have said that there were three divisions: students, disciples, and initiates. Let us see how we would state our position if we were to attain any one of those three degrees in the ancient religion of the Gnostics. If a student, we would say, "I am a student of the Gnostic philosophy." If a disciple, we would say, "I am a disciple of the Gnostic path of wisdom." If an initiate admitted into the spiritual temple of the Gnosis, we would say, "I'm a Gnostic." In the last simple statement, we have distinctly affiliated ourselves with the spiritual hierarchy manipulating the Gnostic order. We would never say that we were anything unless actually initiated into the esoteric organization, which, concealed behind the exoteric order, is in every case the true institution of which the exoteric structure is but a symbol. Every member of an occult organization should make his position unmistakably clear. He owes this not only to the order, but also to himself, for daily misunderstandings arise because students are not honest enough to admit themselves to merely be seekers and not adepts in disguise. The ancient wisdom demands honesty and would have in its ranks none without sufficient love for the order to defend it from every calumny and bear upon their shoulders, if necessary, its honor and integrity. Why should people try to be virtuous when they see others pass on to wisdom with all their sins? Let me read that again. Why should people try to be virtuous when they see others pass on to wisdom with all their sins? The high standards of the wisdom schools are discredited by persons who, while full of faults, claim to be initiated members in good standing of an organization which stands for all that is high and noble. In the name of the great work, it is wise to admit that all we have of virtue we owe to the masters and their institutions, while for our vices we are indebted to our own lower natures. This attitude will serve the great work far better than you will ever know. And that, my beautiful people, is the end of what the ancient wisdom expects of its disciples. I would say keep this on you like you keep your visa, right? Look at it day and night. Remember this, right? Because as you truly do grow along these paths of becoming an initiate, a student, a disciple, and then an initiate, you're going to have to remember these things. You're going to have to bring with you everything that you have learned up until this point, right? Otherwise, you become a discredit to all that is true and holy, right? Truth seekers and initiates, students of the unseen realm, they don't live their lives any kind of way. They really uphold truth when they're seen and when they're unseen. And what counts more is those times where everybody else with physical eyes can't see you, right? What you do in those times, in your private times where you're hidden from the rest of the physical world, is what really matters. Because it's then, I mean, all the time, but you're not going to get away with anything because the unseen world watches you. Especially if you proclaim yourself to be something that you are not, or proclaim to be this big spiritual teacher, but in your private time, you can't even get control over your own self. Oh, the teachers, the masters see that, right? And eventually it's going to come to the light of day. So you had better be living a life that you claim you live in the front of all of those who got physical eyes to see, because the ones with the unseen eyes and unseen bodies, that's who really taking notes. And that's who you really need to impress, because they will pass you or they will fail you in this grade, in these grades on this earth. And I say with an F, school, right? Yo, they killed me with that one. I'm telling you, right? Yo. All right, y'all. It's been a long day. 2 hours and 18 minutes. It's probably like the fourth video. I done it like 2 hours. But I really wanted to finish it today. So when we start tomorrow, we start that big blue book. The OSP. Remember OSP? O is sky. A is earth. Sp? No, I think I got that wrong. OSP. Sky. I might screw it up. I'll tell y'all tomorrow when we come back. It's like spirit, soul, and body. Sky, earth, spirit. Yeah. OSP. Sky, earth, spirit. Spirit. Sky, earth, spirit. Spirit, soul, body. All right. We'll start tomorrow. It is Sunday, April the 10th, 2022. Day 78 of year 4, reading through the books of the law and the prophets under the 4-year consecutive day count. Day 1096 to date. We finished reading the complete Annunaki Bible, all of it. We also completed all of this, what ancient wisdom expects of its disciples. We finished reading all of this. And we are done today, y'all. I love y'all. May Yah bless you and keep you. May you be able to apply all of this raw data. May you convert it to understanding. And then with your understanding, when the opportunities present themselves, may you have assimilated it enough to begin to apply it in wisdom in your life, right? Being able to apply it is true wisdom, because wisdom shows that you have taken raw data, turned it into understanding, assimilated, and you know when to apply it and when not to apply it. May y'all bless you with all those things. I love y'all, and I will see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early. We ain't gonna change the time yet. I was thinking about going to 6:15 Eastern time. I think we'll leave it at 7:15 a little bit longer. I just gotta triage just a little bit better, but I think before the end of the summer, we definitely gonna go to 6:15, right? So, all right, y'all. With that being said, I love y'all. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
Okay.